certain what God wants me to. I'm not exactly certain what God wants me to focus on right now, but He will certainly make it known to me.
Sounds good. Yeah, well, it seems like you have a lot of passions, which is good, right? Passion gets us moving. So, Sandra, today we're really talking about overcoming and really going through the process of trauma, right? It could be complex trauma, and trauma is trauma, right? Whether it be one event or more, it's still a process. And so, I'm honored that you're here, and I wanted to ask you to share part of your story with us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I was a child, I was very much bullied in school, and I hated going to school. Actually, I was trembling when they would try to send me to school, and I was just like trembling because I was so scared. And I knew that my mom kind of wanted well because he wanted me to be able to stay in my home, because he said if I don't go to school, I will be placed in foster care.
Mm,
That's a system in Sweden, by the way, so it's not unusual. And that's just adding trauma to children that's already traumatized by
mm,
bullying. And I didn't really have a school that helped out, and I didn't have parents that could help me. My mom kind of tried, but being kind of a weak nature, she couldn't do it. And my dad, he finally just gave up and told me, you know what, you have a diagnosis, so you deserve to be bullied.
mm. So
And
how did
when
that
he
feel when he said that to you?
uh it it really hurt. And he
Yeah.
kept explaining to me that, you deserve to be bullied because you have a diagnosis. So it wasn't like he said it in one moment, he kept explaining that to me. And I just kind of knew that it wasn't true, but I was trying to kind of just align with that as if it was true, because I thought, okay, if I can accept that I will never ever have friends in my life, that I will live my life alone, like that I will have to go through this life all on my own, that I will never get married, never have kids, no, all of that, because I have a diagnosis, I deserve to be bullied and be bullied everywhere I go. If I can accept that, then I will be happy again. That's kind of the lie I told myself. So I just cried and thought, okay, I'm just gonna cry now, and I'm just gonna get over it, and then start living with this. Start living, okay, start accepting it, and start accepting my life as just
Hmm.
being alone. Of course, that wasn't the truth. That was just trauma to a child to, and just realize that, okay, no one is going to help me in this school, no one is going to help me at home. I'm just going to have to go through this all on my own. But thank you, Jesus, because if he hadn't met me, I would have committed suicide for
Hmm.
sure.
That's hard, right? Like you shared about your journey having family say, well, because of your label, you are, right? You deserve bullying, which is not true. And you knew that, but somehow you kept hearing that, right? And that's a lot to hear. And then you have had this journey, right, of not having that friends and having those suicidal thoughts because you felt like this is it, right? Where's my hope? And then I know you talked about Jesus being your hope, but you didn't have that hope, right? For a while, you didn't have that hope for a while. You were going through pain and did it feel really lonely?
Yes, and uh, the thing that just like, I think it was, I don't remember exactly how long later that I met Jesus, but I think it was like 1.5 years or so
Mm.
after that Jesus really came into my life, and it was like
Changed
really,
you.
yeah, it's like really life transforming uh, experience, because Jesus came so he came into my life like he really met me. He came and he
Mm.
wiped my tears, and I mean it was all bright. And I mean, I got saved in a basement all on my own. I mean, I had only the Holy Spirit to lead me to Jesus.
Mm.
And nobody had really told me. And I wasn't attending church, and I was seeking God. And they told me about this is the Swedish church, by the way. They told me about the Ten Commandments, how a Christian lives, and some Bible verses, and but nothing about how to find God. They just assumed we all had God anyway. So and we were supposed to take communion on that terms that we all kind of had God, even if some of us didn't.
Mm.
And I met Jesus in the midst of that process, even if nobody told me how to.
Mm.
And they never ever told us how to, even to the very end of those classes. I think you call them confirmation studies in English too, right?
Mm. Yeah, depending on your theology or the denomination, you may have catechism, right, or different
Well,
group.
actually, I had another denomination when I was a child.
Okay.
So because my dad was in that church, and when I got saved, I got baptized in the Pentecostal church.
Okay. Is your Pentecostal church?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there can be a lot of those different routines, but the big thing is learning how to encounter God's presence. And that is the difference because we're taught different routines, but routines are not presence. And so in your story, Sandra, you talk a lot about how you found the presence, right? His presence and how that shifted you, which is incredible, especially during those lonely times or when you felt like no one heard you or saw you. And even those of you who are watching, and maybe now or later, God sees us. He hears us. He knows us, even when it seems no one else does. And so,
Mhm.
hopefully this is encouraging because we go through different times or different hard things, and God sees us, and He's there to say, I have you. Just continue to look up, right? See my eyes, see my loving eyes. It's not easy, but I understand. And so I appreciate your story, Sandra, especially with all you've gone through and just to see you flourish now, that there's hope, even in the hard things as you continue. And I also, during this process, obviously, what part of your steps was learning God's presence. What other things did you do or do you do to help you heal and helped you heal through that process and after bullying?
Well, it was actually God that helped me. He took me to a Bible school.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first time in my life when I started getting friends. And I was like really surprised, actually, because I didn't expect to get any friends. I didn't expect to have fun and all that. I just expected that, okay, this will be a really calm year of my life. And the first thing that happens when I come into that dining room and I carry my plate like this, and I just there is a girl by a table, and she start telling me, "Hey, come sit here." And I go, "Wait, wait a minute. She can't mean me." So I'm like looking over my shoulder, like, "Is there anyone else here?" "Yeah, I'm talking to you." I'm like, "No, you can't be talking to me. There is no chance whatsoever." And he's like, yeah, I am talking to you. Come on, sit here. And I go, okay. So I just go and sit with them, and I'm like, that's kind of a new experience
Mm-hmm.
to be invited to a table like that. I mean, so that was just, and then God started teaching me that it was actually fun to hang out with others. And I met this one of the guys at the school. I had met him at like a tent conference once, and I borrowed him my jacket because he was freezing in the tent. And we were just sitting next to one another, and we became really good friends. We started playing the piano together, and he really got my singing voice working. And he is like brilliant with the piano. And I realized I can sing if I have a piano next to me, because I can hear that tune.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not good at picking tunes on my own,
Mm-hmm.
but if I stand by a piano, it works. So, and we played a lot, and we were kind of we had a lot of fun together anyway. So
That's good. I mean,
I
that's
wanted
nice
him
that
I
you.
wanted him to be my boyfriend for a while, but he told me he wasn't interested in me that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we ended up just being friends for, how long was it? I think we were friends for like maybe 7 years or so. And unfortunately, someone came and messed up our friendship, but it's not going to tell that story.
Yeah, that's hard. But you did have that good friendship for a long time, which is good. And you found friends. So part of that healing journey, right, was being in a different place, was finding new friends, learning piano, having that creative outlet that you mentioned. So learning, oh, I can sing, I can hear the tune on the piano, starting to begin your creative outlets. I know you do painting, and all of those different things are part of that healing process, having other people connect with you, as you mentioned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all the panic
And
attacks too that I was suffering from after all this time in school. I just had a feeling that God would somehow break me out of it.
mhm,
And because I'd really developed an anxiety disorder when they forced me to go to that school.
yeah.
And finally, I said to myself, this is not working. I just can't break out of this cycle of anxiety on my own. So I decided I would go see a doctor. So I did.
Mhm,
And he gave me some medication, and the medication had a lot of side effects. I didn't like them. But the thing it did for me, it just broke the thing that held me bound so that I could start doing things that scared the crap out of me.
mhm,
And when that was broken, I didn't need the medication anymore. And God took me out of anxiety. He healed me of the panic attack and the anxiety. So I could lay aside the medication. Today I don't have any medication. But so that's why I say, if you need to take medication just to break out of something, it's not like God is judging you for that.
mhm,
It's it might not be the perfect way, but it's a way.
mhm. As you heal, right? As you heal, some
Yeah.
people, there might be, it's a journey. So everybody's in a
Yeah.
different processing place. Yeah. So thanks for sharing that, Sandra. Again, right? Depending on where you're at in your journey, you may need medication, and then there may be a time like Sandra where that's not necessary. Again, everybody has their journey and process and where you're at. But I appreciate that journey that you're sharing, Sandra, and your vulnerability. And I suppose for people that are watching, maybe people are out there listening in, what's another, maybe as we end, right, for our little talk, for the talk show, and hearing encouragement, hearing your story and how you healed through and you continue to heal, because healing's an ongoing journey. It's an ongoing train to continue to heal. You won't hear me ever say anything opposite. In my experience over my whole life, I continue to heal and grow in different areas. And as soon as I heal from one area and think I'm done, later I might go back for deeper roots, uprooting. And sometimes there may be other things that are healing. I want to encourage all of you that healing is a journey, it's a process, and each area looks different. And that means that we're just willing to learn and grow and continue to evolve. That's part of the healing journey. And so, Sandra, for any of the audience that might be starting, maybe relates to the bullying, are in the beginning of their journey or middle of it, what's a word of encouragement you want to share with them?
That this is not a life sentence. Most certainly not a life sentence. And if you're going through bullying right now, just know that it is possible to come out on the other side. There is another side of this, and you do not deserve to be bullied. And there's nothing wrong with getting help. And if the people around you won't help you, get professional help.
Mm.
Because there's nothing wrong with like seeing a psychiatrist and get some help with how to not just manage things, but how to change your world around you, because you have the power to change your world around you. You just don't know you have it yet. You just don't know where your skills are. So someone might need to help you to just shape the gold in you, to shape that diamond, to scrape off the sharp edges. And there's no condemnation in like being bullied. Sometimes we might just need help in shaping the world around us. And sometimes it's about stepping up and saying no more of this, because it's not your fault that you're being bullied. You can't know what you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
My therapist always tells me that you can't know what you don't know. And I really, really like her. She's really good. Her name is Debbie Kaminsky, by the way. She's been helping me. She's awesome. And I'm seeing her like over Zoom because we're quite far apart, but she is he's been doing a really good job in helping me heal, helping me understand that it's not my fault. I don't deserve to be bullied, to go through those things that's been really rough, and heal them. So I'm in a healing journey, and it's not about, don't stay in the trauma. You don't need to stay there. You can get on this healing journey. And if you can't afford to go to a psychiatrist and you feel that you need to, ask God, because I did ask him, yes, can you help me pay for this? And he did. So God is helping me to pay for my healing journey. He is the one paying for it, and he wants you healed. So just pray. You have not because you pray not. That's in the Bible. And nothing wrong with getting help. There's also help in church. There's Sutsu, and there is lots of things you can do. I just really prefer the professional help, and especially since my psychiatrist is a strong believer, strong Christian, and loves Jesus and does everything with Jesus. And that's a great value to me.
Hmm. Well, thank you. So that's great. So yeah, seek help. And there will be things when you start to seek help that will work out. Thank you, Sandra. I appreciate your words of wisdom and your vulnerability. And again, sharing your journey and where you're at. And I definitely hope if anybody's watching that you'll hear that. You'll be able to hear some things that even through bullying or different things that unfortunately happen in life, that there is hope, there's friendship, there's new life, there's a journey, but there's healing. And so this will conclude our episode of Traumaplicity for this week on a little early. Again, I will be making an announcement. I'll start showing it around 7:30 p.m. at 7:30 p.m. during the on Wednesdays. So I hope you have a great night, everyone, or a really great afternoon, or depending, because actually where Sandra is, it's a little, I think it's evening. So night or evening, wherever you're from, whatever country, and be well. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
I'm gonna